Oh, bro.
What the? There's so many bugs in my soda.
What the? There's bugs in your soda?
How did this happen?
Me having just a nervous breakdown. There's bugs in my soda.
Yeah, keep that in the video.
We will. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are interviewing my boy Kronos, who got to play Persona 3 at Brazil Game Fest. Now, don't expect this to be just pertaining to Persona 3. We go into Persona 5 Tactica and so on, but he only got to play 10 minutes. I just overall decided to throw this together to get his impressions and just talk Persona, games, and all of that good stuff. So if you just want to see two dudes talk about games and just discuss things about what happened at the Brazil Game Fest and just mainly Persona 3 Reloaded, stick around because it's a fun little conversation, or I wouldn't have uploaded it. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Hello, Kronos. Welcome. And thank you for coming on and doing this interview. I should be really streaming because this is coming out really awkward. But you know what? We're rolling with it. We're rolling with this.
We're rolling with it. We're doing it.
So anyway, how was Brazil Game Fest? And more specifically, how was Persona 3?
It's quite rare for analysts to acknowledge Brazil, but they finally did. And I got the chance of playing Persona 3 Reloaded in the Sega stand. And my impressions of the game were, it's great. It's a great game. I have high expectations. Like, everything that I thought they would fix, they did. I saw a lot of people complaining, oh, the game's gonna feel a bit too much like Persona 5. No, it doesn't. It feels like Persona 3, but with a lot of fixes that came from Persona 5. For example, you can now control all of your characters. The game is more stylish than it used to be. Of course, the graphics are better in Unreal Engine 5. It's amazing. Character portraits, much better now. The combat didn't change much in the case of, oh, okay, you have a persona, you change the persona, blah, blah. That's still the same thing. But they do have a new mechanic that is... It's kind of a showtime, but it works better because it's not random.
Mm-hmm.
The more you fight, the more you charge a bar, and this bar you can press RT, and you do a special attack with the character you're using and the persona you're using.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, really cool.
Yeah, no, it is. I seen someone mentioning it, actually. I watched a video. He's definitely a smaller creator. I'm a smaller creator. What am I talking about? But I seen him basically talking about the show times and special attacks and like how, you know, they're kind of balanced within the game. So when we talked about this before, yes, shocker, this ain't a first reaction to the information. I mentioned that, you know, I heard that there's a meter in which you can basically use it. Now, when we go back and when I'm editing this and I ask you to show me the meter, we'll throw that in the video. But yeah, it's just interesting people's takes on like how these like one party attacks are just gonna work, or the special attacks. Jesus. So yeah.
Yeah, when I was playing the game, the more you fought, like, you fought once, and then the second fight, after fighting some shadows, there would be a red triangle where you press the buttons, and this red triangle would say press RT. When you press RT, you perform the special attack.
Yeah.
So the thing I understood about that is if you finish a battle with a certain character and you keep fighting with it, you're eventually gonna get the ability to use it.
That's good.
Unlike the showtime that it was random when the game wanted it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, bro.
What the? There's so many bugs in my soda.
What the? There's bugs in your soda?
How did this happen?
Me having just a nervous breakdown. There's bugs in my soda.
Yeah, keep that in the video.
We will. Alright, what you were talking about earlier about the stylized Persona 5 stuff, although an interview has confirmed the fact that they're like, alright, we're making Persona 3 to be more like Persona 5, it's not necessarily the case. If you look at any rendition of Persona 3, you'll realize Persona 3 has its already like own style in its UI. Persona 3 in itself has a style. So I don't get why people like to make the argument that, oh my god, they're ruining it because it's Persona 5. They made it too much like Persona 5. It, like this, like how Atlas stylized UIs now, it's so much better than I think previous.
Yes.
And although people like the classic for nostalgia, Atlas has gotten like a rhythm going or a really good key artist to do all this. So I think people who are complaining about it are going a little over the top with it. And from what you said, yeah, no, this Persona 3 Reload UI and just animations and everything to the T looks amazing. And from my perspective, it does. But actually playing it probably is a different perspective.
It's Persona 3. It didn't change. It's still like the blue, white, the more dreary, not very like melancholic style of Persona 3, but it's more dynamic, more fast-paced and different. You know, it feels unique to Persona 3. Something like Persona 5 had the dynamic menus. It had the whole black, red, white theme. 3 does that thing with the dynamic and the colors, but it's completely different. The feeling you get, it's not more rebellious and animated. It's more melancholic and dreary.
Yeah,
It's very different. It's no Persona 5.
Yeah. I guess people are making the comparison because of the fact that, like, oh, you go into the menu, oh no, it's animated. Like, so what I look at it is, like, it's more, the developers even say it's a deeper dive into Persona 3, which they really are heavily captivating on, like, the Soul of, the Sea of Souls or something, with like the menu UI and like everything that's associated with it. I personally really like the UI, and like when you go to the party section, like Makoto's holding the glass, because I think that's just a really, really nice touch into everything.
Yeah, you can see that everything is more polished. Be that the character portraits, the drawing of the characters, their style of the game, everything feels like they simply got it. Now they know what they're doing. Now that's how it's gonna be. It feels right. The characters feel clean. Uh, Everything just feels nice. It fits.
So, when you were going through Tardis, did it seemed more dynamic and like things shifting all around comparatively to like how flat it was on the original PS2 and P3P versions of the game? Because Tardis in itself can get very repetitive in the mind sense of like sitting there and grinding and going through basically what seems to be like the same environment each and every time with like nothing really happening. I guess nothing really being dynamic about it. In the trailers that they showed, at the very least, seemed like things shifted when like you were walking around and stuff. Not necessarily like the environment changing, but like more so like it felt like a sense of like, oh, you can open like a door and then things kind of like it's more dynamic in the sense you have more user ability, I guess. That's kind of where I was looking or trying to explain, I guess.
Since I only played the full moon and it's the full moon and new moon demo, I played the one the train with Junpei Iwakari and Makoto.
Oh.
And I played a bit of the full moon, the first full moon.
Oh.
And the first full moon in Tartarus, yeah, things don't feel half as flat. You have other ways to go, like it's not one path forward. You can go many ways, but it is random. It's not any Persona 5 with handcrafted stuff, but it does feel less flat. It does feel like you have more freedom to explore. and the shadows are much faster. Like you cannot run from them. If they see you, they will get you,
Oh my.
which adds a bit of difficulty to the game. And the fact that it's non-linear, there's a bunch of stairs, there's like places for you to hide and all of that.
Oh, you can hide?
It's interesting. Not hide per se,
Oh,
but you can like climb stairs and get behind the railing so the shadows don't see you.
gotcha.
So you
That
can surprise them when they're backwards.
Yeah, that kind of was the thing in the OG, but you can never like go under the railing or do any of that. It was more
No,
like
you can't go under the
yeah.
railing. You can just go like behind it and
Oh,
watch the
behind
shadow.
it. Okay. So more so like in the original, you could only like really climb those stairs that were just kind of like around Tartarus, not necessarily like hide behind it or do any of that. At
Yeah, the
least
shadows don't really see you. You just
yeah.
stand behind the railing. You don't have a prompt. You just stand there and they don't really do anything.
Yeah, you disappeared. They do not feel your presence anymore.
You go on.
Randomizers for I think Persona 3 would be fun in that sense where like if a shadow sees you, oh my god, that's going to be like oh my god. I made it kind of like a challenge thing that I still have to edit and I think I will end up posting, but pretty much I was playing Persona 4 randomizer with shadows. I didn't really put bosses because I guess the game has much more of a higher chance to crash. So I was like, okay, I won't put on like boss randomizers. I'll just keep it Shadow Pacific. And that was like pretty much you having to run the hell away from a shadow. It was more so the game turned into a turn-based from a turn-based game to get the hell away from the shadows, run to the first like safe area on all the way on the top floor. So that's what would interest me in the sense of like a Persona 3 Reload randomizer. I know same thing could be done with the original, but then again, I'm like kind of used to their speed. They're kind of easy to avoid. And all of that.
Yeah, I played it on normal,
Yeah.
and I thought the game was harder. I
Well,
played the older games. I know how they feel. I did think this game was a bit harder.
that's good.
Granted, I played with Makoto only, the full moon, so I was a bit harder by nature. But I don't know, the shadows seemed faster, the damage you do didn't seem as high, even when you hit their weakness, stuff like that.
I seen a classic Persona 3 moment where the enemy got a critical and then pretty much wiped the entire party.
It
Yeah.
happens. It happens.
So, in the sense, I'm actually happy that the game seems harder on normal specifically because Persona 5's normal ain't so normal. And then when you try it with my, I guess, experimentation with me trying to raise the difficulty with Persona 5, it just felt like it didn't feel easy, but it just like didn't feel right when you changed the difficulty from my like perspective. Like yes, the game got hard, but it just seemed like it got kind of ridiculous. And then I was like thinking to myself, like, okay, where's the good balance here for me?
Yeah,
So,
as if they only tested the normal but didn't really
yeah,
care too much about the hard.
yeah,
But as I said, for what I tested, 3 looked hard and normal. And I only played the first full moon, so I
Yeah.
have high expectations for difficulty management in 3 Reloaded.
I personally like when a game, I guess, progresses itself than having it. Well, having a difficulty maybe when you beat the game later, I think would be cool. But with like games like Final Fantasy, I always like the progression of something getting harder, so that like if you die, you know, okay, I need to grind, I need to do this. I don't like being, I guess, especially with Genshin, level capped to what specific missions I can do and other things. And then that's a whole separate topic, but more specifically, if a game with its normal difficulty can scale itself good, then it's a good game. If it cannot do that, like Persona 5, it's kind of spotty with balance. Not to say that Persona 5 is a bad game, but it could have been better combat-wise.
Ooh,
Yeah.
hot take.
Hot take, base take. I'm sorry. Me apologizing for my based take.
Uh,
You're already like, I don't know if I trust Matt anymore. He's going off the deep end.
Persona 5 Strikers.
Me cringing. How is pressing the X and Y button the entire time? Or the square and triangle button?
Fun.
I think it's hard for me to believe that was your first Persona game, right?
It is. It is my first Persona game.
Yeah.
Really like the characters and the style.
And
Anyway,
now you're a
then I went
fan.
to 4 and I hated it.
Heartbreak, bum 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 bum. Okay, I should stop. All right. So from the trailers, I guess, have you watched the trailers?
I did. I did watch
So
most of them, I think.
So is there anything from the trailers that you would like to like add on that you saw as like a newer feature that the trailers haven't showed off yet?
I don't think so, because the trailers showed up a lot, and a lot of things that I didn't get to play, such as I only played it with Junpei, Yukari, and Makoto. All the other characters, they were not available to me. And in the case of like, story-wise, I played very little of the new Moon. I didn't really get to see anyone else.
Yeah, well, especially because it's the first Moon, and then especially where you are in the story, and especially with it being a tutorial. I was just curious if, like, you open the tactics menu, like, more like anything, like, can you separate your party, like, in the original? Like, I don't think that was discussed upon yet.
Separate your party.
So, in the original, you can talk to your party members and be like, alright, or give them orders to separate and then explore Tardis themselves, or you can just, like, pretty much explore Tardis as a party. It doesn't seem like that's the case because doesn't seem like they're necessarily following you anymore, like in original P3.
You can explore Tardis by yourself or with your team. You can talk to them and choose who goes and who doesn't.
Yeah.
I, for example, explored by myself the first time.
Gotcha.
With only Makoto.
Oh, wow. A badass over here.
Not much. I died.
No, that's when you go like one-man army in a Persona game. That's what I think, because like how it's represented in Persona 5 when you go to do it. Joker just acts all cocky when he walks away from the battle. So, well, that's a good thing that you died. So the game's balanced. Yep.
That's a good thing you died. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but so it seems as though, yeah, you probably wouldn't know where the game didn't show it off, but yes, in the original game, you had all your party members on the, like, field at all times, so, like, when you were just exploring Tardis, they'd be there, and you could give them orders to, like, separate, and then they'd find treasure, get into fights, and so on, so, like, it'd be more like them doing their own thing and then you just exploring yourself. And then when you met up with them, they could rejoin your party or be laying dead on the ground, which has happened several times.
Yeah, I didn't really see that, or maybe just didn't get to see that.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's a feature. I played very little. It's the beginning of the game.
Yeah, especially 10 minutes. I was just curious. That's all. And then finally, the OSTs. Obviously, we talked a great deal about this. Tell me all the lyrics right now.
You think I could listen to that stuff? No, the event was
Tell me what Lotus Juice is saying. I couldn't hear him.
No one can.
No one can. I'm joking, but...
It literally sounds like he's speaking on a can. Didn't hear anything.
Dang.
But yeah, about the music. All the new tracks that the new lead singer does, they're amazing. They're very good. But I gotta agree a little bit with the popular opinion with the Mass Destruction. Not that the singer is bad, but it just feels like it needs more editing, more. It feels lacking.
It still
It
needs
feels
to, yeah.
definitely lacking.
It needs to be a bit more refined. Maybe what could
Yes.
potentially happen, which I doubt it's going to happen, but how I guess Tardis music kind of progressed throughout Tardis when you went up to when you would eventually get to different floors or different environments, the theme would change in the background. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna happen with It's Going Down, but it'd be pretty cool for a classic song to eventually get like remixed, like when you're going through the different floors of Tartarus. That would
It's going
yeah,
down just play to me when I ambushed an enemy.
yeah.
Mass destruction happens when you clash or
Oh.
the enemy hits you first.
Yeah, and that's very interesting in the sense that I guess Makoto's like, bro, it's going down. I just surprised your ass. Then Mass Destruction's like, I could die.
I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die today, boys.
And another thing with battle, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I do think I saw some new shadow designs, some new shadows that I don't quite remember seeing the original game,
Yeah.
which is welcome. Like, new enemies is very good.
And yes, it is important to have variance instead of like I guess having the same game. Kingdom Hearts did the same thing. Now that's a drastically different example, but pretty much how Kingdom Hearts worked is where they pretty much released the same game for the PS2 back in my day, and then just like made variations to the colors of Heartless and made certain special Heartless. It's a little weird how they did it, but and then they added secrets, added a bit more additions for like Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 2 is a lot more different, and I guess I'm just making that comparison to like if a shadow is slightly, looks different or has a different variation of color palettes, that's pretty much what I would say a re-release of a game would always do. So I don't know. I just think it's cool, like
Yeah,
little. I just think
I
it's
think I saw brand new shadows,
yeah.
like completely new shadows,
I
which
I just think it's
good.
cool the little additions that Japanese developers will put in their games compared to remasters on our west side and how cancerous it can be.
Remasters.
Yeah, remasters for like Assassin's Creed 2, but it's in HD, but it looks genuinely worse than it did
Are
on
we
the
gonna
PS3.
talk about SMT Nocturne?
Oh, SMT Nocturne. Don't. Oh boy. Imagine not being able to select your skills at launch. Imagine having a compressed audio. Oh my god. Ugh, ugh.
30 FPS in a Unity engine. Wow.
How the hell did they do it in Unity? That's so weird.
I don't know. But Persona 3 is Unreal 5. Game looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and especially if they do ray tracing in it. It probably does. It's not like certain things blatantly look like it is, which ray tracing, I think you kind of understand what it is. More reflections,
Yeah.
essentially. So things look a bit more reflective than what they originally did. And Tardis, I don't know how they did it and why it looks so squeaky clean, but damn, that janitor at night must be really doing his job.
Those shadows are sucking up all the dirt in the floor, man. I'm telling you.
That's how they're created.
The dirt.
The dirt.
Perfect.
Oh man. So anyway, besides all of the new stuff with Persona 3 and your experiences and that you really enjoyed it, how was the cosplayers and everything and like just the environment overall at Brazil Game Fest for Persona 3?
Well, you see, Persona 3 shared a stand with Persona 5 Tactica,
Oh yeah,
which it was kind of pathetic because there was absolutely no one at the Persona 5 side. Everyone was at the Persona 3 side. And while I was using an Akihiko cosplay and it was with a C scene, It was almost all complete, but we didn't have a Junpei or Yukari. The people, the owners of the Sega stand, they came to us and said, "Oh, can you guys like go to the Persona 5 side a bit?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." There's literally no one at the Persona 5 side. Said it.
And you said Persona 5 Tactica seemed a bit mid.
It is. I did feel it was a very mid game. It smelled like a spin-off. It felt like a spin-off.
It smelled
Not
like
really
Persona
good.
5 Strikers.
Just shut.
We always have to have that beef. Just like my like and dislike ratio on that video.
Deserved.
Yes. So I guess I really wouldn't have any questions about Tactica, only because tactical games I don't think are like either of our strong suits. And secondly, what they show in the trailers is pretty much what you're getting in terms of that game. I played I guess 13 Sentinels, which is another Atlas game, but I think it's by I think the developer's called Vanilla Software. I'll look into it. Editing, editing. So pretty much that game was really dynamic and really cool in the sense of like, yeah, it looks really generic in terms of like the, I guess like the tactical battles, but they got so addicting with like the little details that you did in the game, and just overall every impact that you did just felt really like really sick, like because you're pretty much controlling mechs, right? And so like when you shot rockets, like, oh my god, it's just such a cool little experience that no one plays, and it's just mine that I'm rambling about right now because screw tactical games that are associated with Persona 5. Yep, I said it. Play 13 Sentinels, I guess, room.
Yeah, I can't in my sound mind recommend paying as much as Atlas is asking for Persona 5 Tactica. It's not a game made with care, sadly. And I'm of the opinion that Strikers is good, so can't even say I don't like spin-offs of 5. I just really think Tactica is not good.
Can I say this right now? Persona 5 Strikers is good. It's just mid story wise. I'm really getting into them. Did you just crack your knuckles?
Yes.
Oh my god! Deb, I'm sorry. Me overly no, I can't be sorry. Okay, then I extremely am with my opinion about Persona 5 Strikers. I will not back down.
Thought so.
I'm cracking my knuckles now. My OBS probably picked it up, but I don't think Discord picked it up. But you mentioned you got to talk to the producer for Persona 3 Reload because of your cosplay.
Yeah, it wasn't really he talk to me. It was more like he started poking my armband, and yeah, since he only speaks Japanese and I speak English and Portuguese, couldn't really understand what he was saying. But for one, his translator said he was asking if my armband was from the new game. I said yes. He paused. It was really funny. And then he asked to take a picture with me. So, for what I saw from him, he seems like a really passionate dude. Like, he actually really likes the game he's making. Because he started taking pictures with every single one of the cosplayers.
Ooh.
Even taking pictures when we were with our backs towards him. He took pictures hidden. It was really funny.
Yeah.
I guess dude really believes in the game he's making.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, exactly. And honestly speaking, like, That's probably the best outlook of a game that you could have, is someone who's actually enjoying the game that they're making and then actively going out and like meeting the cosplayers and all that. It's I really wish I could have gone to one of these conventions where Persona 3 had a booth, because sadly I went to Fan Expo, which was still fun. Lots of cosplayers and lots of cool people there, but I really wanted to play Persona 3 and just newer games in general. So next gaming convention I have to go. Obviously E3 is not going to happen again, so woo!
There was a bunch of games. There was the new Sonic. There was Yakuza. No, Like a Dragon. It's not Yakuza anymore. I'm sorry.
What?
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is the other game that wasn't the Sega booth.
Oh, I didn't even know that they had a new game for the Yakuza series. Anyway, I think that we talked about quite a lot about Persona 3, about Persona in general, about Persona 5 Strikers not being a good game. I mean, Persona 1 and all that. So, this was a really decent interview, I think. I know I probably didn't ask the hardball questions, and, you know, I did try to ask. I mean, you only had 10 minutes of it, but your impressions primarily is what I think matters the most, and the fact that you really enjoyed it, and it was a lot harder than Persona 5 really is telling of how the difficulty is going to be scaled within this game. So, I'm just really hyped for this game, and I'm really happy that I know someone who played it, who cosplayed as Akihiko, talked to the damn producer, got a picture with the producer,
And an autograph.
and an autograph. So, yeah, it's all.
You got the producer pogged, man.
He pogged. Oh man, I really want to try to go to a game fest where Persona 3 is going to be a highlight. I might be going to Texas at the start of next year, so we'll see. But with that, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you so much, Kronos, for joining in and talking about this. And sorry for the beginning of the interview going really like kind of south real fast, but we fixed it up. We're good.
I mean, I've been waiting for this.
Oh, he said the line. Woo! Alrighty, see you guys. Peace.